Thanks to the amount of stuff that needed to be moved out of Mr. Steeb's property, it took days before the restoration crew could make a proper assessment of the damage for the insurance company.
Estimating is probably the most critical portion of getting paid. If you don't correctly estimate, you won't get paid the right amount of money. And on the insurance side, well, they're looking at everything in that estimate line by line. Well, should that be in there? Or maybe we could take $10 off of that. Or maybe that line shouldn't be in there. Or this line right here, well, I don't know if he had that many fans in the room, so we're gonna have to check that. They're looking at it because they don't want to pay a dime more than they need to pay. In some cases, some companies don't want to pay what they do need to pay. So on our end, you know, we don't want to get paid for something we didn't do, but we want to get paid for everything that we did do. So you want to put in every single solitary thing that you did on that job so that you can get paid.
This job is getting more and more expensive for us, so Kara and I need to finish writing up this estimate so we can get paid for this job. Mr. Steve is a nice guy, but this makes it a pain. On Steve, things to keep in mind. I mean, you've got pretty much a typical water damage, except he's a hoarder. Everything else is normal. So the furniture and what we do with that is the line items that you need to pay attention to.
One of the main issues with Steve or Stipe was that it took a while to actually remove everything before we could get in there to realize that there was a ton of mold. I mean, we couldn't assess the job before everything was moved out.
Make sure you charge $95 for delivery, $95 for pickup.
Okay. It's a 30-yard. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting a full-size dumpster because we got a lot of stuff that we need to throw away if they'll let us.
So due to all the man hours, basically, of our guys being over there on Steve and Stipe, this is going to be kind of a costly estimate.
Once they get that stuff out of the way, then you've got drywall, carpet, base, all that stuff.
Those are all the demo notes, right?
Right. But if we get paid like we should on it, yeah, it should be a $7,000 to $8,000 job.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, he had Andy take the picture out of one of the frames because he wanted to keep the frame. So.
He wanted to keep the frame and not the picture.
He wanted to keep the frame and not the picture? What kind of crap is that?
Yeah, because it was metal.
He kicked it out of the frame.
We have people that, and I talk to them and I explain, because they're like, what do we claim? What are we going to claim here? Because we don't know what's content, what's not, or what they're going to pay for. And I said, well, they're not going to pay for an actual, you know, family photo because there's no way to assign a value to it. So what we do is we'll have you claim the frame, and that's what you get claimed. And you save your picture because you can't replace that. And then we'll put it in a new frame. And that's what everybody does.
We've gone into customers' houses before and they have pictures everywhere that are the frames they buy with a portrait in there of some actor. You know,
oh yeah, it'll be the standard. It'll be the standard picture that came in, and it's like some model or something that came in it. I guess you should do that if you got an ugly family.
Now the cleanup of Mr. Steeb's house was coming towards completion. He took some time out on the porch to reflect on how his hoarding began. And his wife, Teresa, even had a few ideas.
Was blessed to have somewhat of a military career, which I would have stayed on in. One thing with the military that I think, and this is another funny thing, is my wife says, how can you have won awards like an Army Commendation Medal or an Army Service Medal for organization in the military and now be here? Well, one thing, it's 25 years later, but the other thing, I think with the military type mentality, you keep things minimal. And, you know, almost like going back, I kept everything in a rucksack or on my back, and fortunately, that worked really well for me. Probably should have kept working on it for another 12 or 15 years, and I'd have been drawing a retirement out of it. But then if I'd have gotten that retirement, I might have been spending it all on buying other stuff to hoard, you know? So, I wish I could say that the military attributed to this. I don't think they directly did. I think it's just a culmination of life experiences. Teresa does tease that I must have been deprived as a child, or, you know, my grandparents that raised me were Depression era. She said maybe that had something, you know, who knows. But one thing, I always try to keep an optimistic attitude, you know, look at the faults, and the cup can either be half empty or half full. Also, this is, I see y'all wear cargo pants too. Yeah. Favorite pants are cargo pants because I got a lot of room for, that's all right, I got a lot of room for papers and, yeah, knives, pens. You can see I love knives.
Well, Mr. Stive has told me multiple times that he jumped out of helicopters and he's hit his head a bunch of times. I believe that could be a contributing factor to what he's got going on that's got these mental issues with him, but I believe there's more to it than that. He's got some serious issues that he needs to deal with, and I mean, if he doesn't deal with it, his basement is going to be a wreck, you know, as soon as it gets completed. I just want to get it up far enough where I can get the plastic down there.
To the ground?
Yeah, I want to go from here down.
I was pleasantly surprised. I had a good rapport with the lead guy they sent out, David, good old boy, and we kind of laughed together, had fun. He told me exactly what he wanted to do. He stuck to, you know, whatever he said he would do, he would do. I mean, everything took a little bit longer. That's partly on me. You gonna be able to get the dresser on there? Or?
Yeah, I've just got it taped up right now. Oh, the dresser, yeah, we can fit that on there. I've got that filing cabinet taped up, so.
All right, well, with this mess you're gonna need, I've got 2 different types of moonshine here that y'all can
We'll pick us 1 or 2 out today.
that y'all can partake in, so.
But yeah, we'll get that on there today, and the filing cabinet, we'll just leave it in there.
All right. I can't thank y'all enough, though, man. You've really been doing a great job.
You good?
You know, really. Like I said, for me, this thing right here, this water damage, these guys are my new best friends, you know. They're really coming in here and doing what I'd have to pay somebody else. Of course, I guess I'm paying for it indirectly through insurance premiums, but, you know. And they're very good. Want me to go pick up a pizza?
Huh?
Y'all eat pizza for lunch? Want me to go pick up a pizza?
Heck yeah.
Pizza? We eat some pizza?
Yeah.
Cheese, pepperoni, what do you?
What kind of pizza you want, Janet? What kind of pizza you want?
Pepperoni, cheese? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. All right, I'll be back then. I'll go get that. I'll go get it.
Appreciate it. I don't mind Janet, but, you know, sometimes working with her, she's a pain in the ass.
Okay, Life told me that you guys gonna help me to get all tarps down here. So can you do that?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess. We gotta hurry up, though. We ain't got much time. We got stuff to do.
Well, hurry up, hurry up. We can finish quick if you do it quicker.
Oh, she's shut up. As far as Janet and bossing people around, yeah, she's very bossy. If you're on a job with her, she thinks she can tell you everything to do. You know, it doesn't matter. You moved that piece of furniture, but you moved it ½ inch the wrong way. You know, it's always got to be what Janet says.
I can help if you want to.
You think you could manage grabbing some of this stuff?
Yes, I can.
I really think she knew better when she was out there working with me because she knew the attitude that she would get back. And I mean, a lot of people up here just listen to her and won't mouth off back to her. No, if she mouths off to me, she's got the wrong one.
As long as it's not heavy, it'll be okay with me. I can help.
If I wouldn't get paid for this, there ain't no woman tell me what to do.
Oh, excuse me.
I do believe when she's not in control of the job, she just cannot stand it. And she just looks for ways to piss you off.
That's your problem, David.
What is that?
Your problem is that you always don't want women to tell you what to do. I bet you Jolene does.
He don't listen to women enough, does
No,
he?
because I'm a grown man and
Oh, excuse me.
you ought to be at home cooking and
Oh, please.
raising your children. As far as woman's work, I do believe most fires that we go to, that's a woman's job other than moving the furniture out. Cleaning to me is a woman's job.
When he said the cleaning is a woman's job, I hate it because I think so it has to be 50-50.
Do you boss your husband around at home?
Of course.
He ought to smack you around, but he should do.
He's a redneck, remember?
Yeah, they don't like to be bossed around.
My job is to actual work and bring home money. My wife's job is to stay home, raise kids, and clean the house. And I do believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. I believe it's a man's place to work, a woman's place to stay home. In these days and times, though, it's very hard to do that, you know, especially with kids in a financial situation. Like right now, my fiance wants to go back to work. The cost of daycare makes it where it's not even worth it. So hopefully we're working on something where she can get back to work. But I don't want her to have to work. You know, if she wants to work, fine. But I'm not going to make her go to work. If I've got to work 2 or 3 jobs to get us by, then that's what I've got to do. And I do feel like that's what a real man does. I was taught from my dad at an early age, if you want something, you have to get out and work for it. So basically, I've been working since I was about 12 years old, making my own money, buying all my own stuff. And he taught me, you know, that's a value in my family. That's, you know, that's your responsibility as a male to take care of the female and take care of your kids too, let her raise them. Give it to her and drop it on her head.
Sure, David. I can hear you.
I really don't give a shit.
David's a chauvinist, yeah, definitely. We call in my country, we be macho men that think that the women's be in the house and the men's in working. Yeah, that's a macho man. Chauvinist.
David, this is his third time working with us. David's a very hard worker, great guy, love working with him. But he's had some issues in the past. I don't know how much detail we need to go into with all that stuff, but he doesn't have a driver's license right now because of his colorful past, and so that's sometimes a challenge. But third time's the charm. I think he's gonna make it for a while this time.
I have 4 kids, 3 with one woman, and 1 with the woman I'm currently with. I love them to death. They're 8, 7, 5, and 5 months. Getting big fast. And, you know, I love them to death. I wouldn't trade them for the world. My oldest 3, I can't stand their mama. That's probably, my kids are the only thing good that came out of that relationship, put it that way. I want to beat her ass sometimes.
You're a good daddy.
I'm good to my kids. But when I get on the phone with her, we can't even speak to each other that much. It's always an argument, and it's just pointless. So when I talk to my kids, I just try to get off the phone with them and just, you know, when I talk to them, just hello, all right, bye, click. When I'm done with them, I just hang up the phone. As far as the mold issue in the basement, it was pretty much every wall. We cut out all the walls. Some of them had to go all the way to the ceiling. Some of them were just 2 foot high. Some of it was 5 foot high. You know, it differentiated all around the basement as far as, you know, where the mold was and how much it was. So it was a pretty good bid. And you're in there with no mask on. If you didn't have a mask on, it's hard to breathe. It was that much mold and, you know, dust in the air and just, I mean, there was no telling what we were actually breathing in there. It was pretty nasty.
When I walk in the basement, I saw everything as a mold wet. So I was like, that's so disgusting to keep that stuff.
When the house was emptied, the much-feared mold was exposed. Jesus is a certified mold expert and was alarmed by what he found.
Well, the mold, it was everywhere in the walls. I mean, baseboards, probably 2-4 feet high on the walls. It's pretty dangerous to him and their family to live in there with all that mold in the basement.
The consequences of having that much stuff in your house, in your basement, is that you don't really know what's going on down there. You can't tell if you've had a leak, if there's a sewage problem, electrical, anything like that going on. You can't get to your walls or to your floor or even to half of the stuff. You know, rodent infestations, roach infestations, all these things are related to having that much stuff in the house. And when you have mold developing in some portion of your house, it is going to try to spread to other parts of the house. That's the problem, is breathing in the spores that are created from it. So if you've got a water source you don't know about because you have so much stuff that you can't see it, and it's starting to develop, I mean, it's going to affect the entire house. And you can have respiratory issues all the way up to even memory loss has been claimed because of mold exposure.
The mold's probably good. I mean, shit, I'd be lucky if I lived another 30 years anyway, so it's not gonna kill me. But as far as people breathing in mold, I mean, it's not good for you. It's gonna cause you respiratory problems and, you know, all that good stuff. But he had teenagers in the house, you know, and then breathing that in over a period of time. So then you've got a real serious risk of, you know, health problems to not just the kids, but then the older folks is gonna have it too.
Or fraternity.
It was an emotional exercise for Mr. Steve to have his hoarded possessions cleared out of his house. And ironically, he doesn't appreciate hoarders when it comes to his rental properties.
Here, George, put your Miller. I guess the irony of the hoarding part is that, you know, I mean, this is tough for me, and I've got a big element of it myself. I mean, when I go to one of my rental houses and somebody has hoarded up a lot of stuff and I've got to do an eviction, it's terrible. I mean, it's just like what we're doing here. You know, you got to bring a crew in, and sometimes people don't even care. They'll leave. I've had people leave a whole house full of everything. Now, half of it may be from the thrift store or Goodwill, but it's, you know, it's bad when you see it in other people. I actually, not too long ago, volunteered. A realtor friend called me and said, Mike, we got a lady in the neighborhood. She's about your age. Her parents passed away. She inherited their house. She's living in the garage. She said the bugs are so bad in the house that you can't function. And so she said, I think it'd be a good idea if you come over here. And she's kind of an animal hoarder, ironically. Does real well. So I said, okay, I'll come over and check it out. I went over and helped and, you know, really felt for this lady. I mean, it was, you know, actually in a way made me feel a little bit better, but then on the other hand, had a very sympathetic heart, you know, and like it was so severe, you know, where mine is kind of a little bit contained. Sometimes when I have somebody come apply to rent a house, or I'll sneak around and kind of look inside their car, because that's sometimes a telltale sign if the back seat's full of stuff. But you know, people can do a lot of damage. I've seen what can happen even to my basement and my garage. So I always tease even guys that have helped me and worked for me. I don't want anybody that's too much like me. You know what I mean? Because hoarding can definitely mess stuff up. Stick it up there for me.
The bottom was rotted out. You're gonna have to put a new bottom on.
Bottom or something, yeah. I mean, wherever, put it on top of the boxes. More hoarding. Just hate to.
With Mr. Steve's house almost cleared of his hoarded belongings, he revealed that this wasn't the first time he had a flood from a leaking pipe.
Ironically, lightning strikes twice. This happened 3.5 years ago at this same property. So, and I just changed that hot water heater and the line last year. So, kind of crazy.
Was the damage actually from just this one flood? Don't know, but you can't differentiate. You know, he's had multiple leaks in his basement and all that stuff, so did all this mold come from that? I don't think so, but am I gonna tell the adjuster that I think it was from something different? No, you know, so this time maybe I'd say 50% of the damage he had might have been from this claim, but he's had multiple losses in his basement that have not been claimed. So I can't tell you exactly, you know, how much of this was just from this one loss. When I first met with the insurance adjuster, he asked me how long it would take me to get this done. And I told him a week. That was as far as moving everything out, doing all the demo work. Well, 3 weeks later, I was finally getting done. I mean, it was a nightmare of a job.
Back at base, it was time to take stock of the seemingly never-ending job.
Yeah, I mean, he's writing everything down. I mean, there's all kind of air conditioners and all that crap that he's putting down for $300. It's got a $120 tag on it.
Okay, so basically he's just gonna keep everything. Steve house, it's in a good spot now compared to where it was. We had to move a lot of stuff, rearrange a lot of stuff, put stuff in dumpsters. When I say stuff, I mean contents. But we worked and worked and worked and finally got to a point where there was enough of the stuff out of the house in order for us to facilitate drying it, cutting out drywall, and cleaning up the mess that had originally gotten us out there. And right now, we're kind of at a point where we're almost dry and kind of looking further down the road at doing the repairs.
What am I going to do with the space as far as remodeling? I'm hoping that I can fix it back up like a little mini apartment. My eldest daughter lived there for a year or so before she got married and had her kids, and she's actually going through a divorce now. So, you know, just as a backup, we got aging parents, so I'd like to have it where if somebody needs to come stay with us for short-term or long-term, they got their own bathroom. I may put a little kitchenette down there. They got their own bedroom. Do I plan on keeping everything? I hope not, you know. Teresa will be a lot happier if there's a lot less down there. Plus, you know, you're sacrificing living space in your home for storage space. That's not really fair or good for for anybody, or even healthy. So, but I got my work cut out for the next 3 or 4 weeks, trying to eliminate stuff, getting this remodel done, and putting everything back together. But the hardest part is not going to be doing the remodel. The hardest part is not putting so much stuff back in there where the space is no longer usable. This is a blessing in the fact that, you know, what I found is what I do, I may not be the most serious hoarder. I mean, I've got mindful enough where I am admitting to it. Before I thought I had so many other good things going on that a little bit of hoarding, and it was a little bit back in my 30s and my 40s, but it's kind of kicked into hyperdrive. But what I figured out, if you are mindful of it, admit to it, and then also being able to purge. By making it into a bedroom or living space, I'm hoping that I won't junk it up, you know. And I've done a lot of research on hoarding. I've seen the reality program, and you know, unfortunately, I've been to the doctors, I've been to the VA saying, hey, was it too much head trauma? Was I dropped on my head? Was I beat as a child? And you know, it's one of those type of things that gets worse when you're in your 50s, and it's not easily treated.
It drove me nuts for 3 weeks.
On the next edition of Master of Disaster, Luke and his crew hit the road to St. Simon's Island.
Off to go chasing hurricanes.
Fire in a family home is unquestionably a disaster. When it struck Mrs. Cuspis, a tenant in the Gilbert property, everything seemed to be lost. Her life turned to ashes.
I was just devastated. I seen all my furniture burnt to a crisp, just black. All my trophies burned up. I've been having those for like 10 years now. All that stuff burned up. And I can't get that back.
I see it all the time, but I haven't had to go through it. What you're going through is just, I mean, right now it's just straight tough.
This restoration crew in Georgia pick up the pieces when the dust has settled.
We'll actually clean this, pump it up, probably put it into put it in a glass case or something like that.
These dedicated professionals not only do the cleaning up, they restore homes and hope for everyday people.
The building it back, that's nothing. We do that every day. But being able to help somebody, a friend, you know, in a time of need, that's what I want to do. And if I can do that, I mean, I'll be a happy guy. I'll be happier than you will, I promise you that.
I appreciate that. If you can really do that for me.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Georgia, in the United States of America, is renowned for its extreme weather events. And it's here that you will find a cottage industry of businesses set up to respond to homeowners when they are most in need. Meet business owner Luke and his best friend Cy. Aptly, Luke named his company Black Dog Restoration.
We do get our fair share of bad weather, but it's a mix of a lot of different things. You do get a lot of fires from lightning. You do get a lot of wind damage from storms. If it gets real cold in the winter, we get a lot of water damage claims. The level of contaminants is unbelievable. It's like combining sewage and nuclear and dead things and just, yeah, it's bad stuff. Thank God it's not here anymore. I am Luke Smith. I'm the owner of a local business that does fire and water and wind repair.
Luke's company is a family affair, with his son Harris following in his father's footsteps.
I'm gonna pass it along to you, son. Stupid.
Rob is the local pastor and Luke's go-to guy in the field of reconstruction. Rob has a cool head in a crisis.
And together,
We are the pastor and master
of disaster. We come in and basically restore homes that have been damaged or businesses that have been damaged, but we also take somebody's life that's been turned upside down, and as we're repairing the actual house and their home and their contents, we're kind of repairing their lives.
Well, I just think that's a grand idea.
An all too common call out for Luke and his crew is fire in a domestic residence. Luke received word that a property owned by Mr. Gilbert had caught fire the previous night. Fortunately, the tenant Mrs. Cuspis and her children were not home when all their possessions caught ablaze. As always, Luke dropped everything to come to her aid.
Sometimes things happen that we really don't know what caused the loss or caused the problem, but either way, they're a disaster. That's kind of the case in the Gilbert loss. It was just a pure disaster, but we really don't know exactly what happened. When I arrived and I saw that the fire had burned part of the outside of the house, I knew that it was a bad fire. The other thing I knew from looking at Miss Cuspis that she needed help. So where were you when it actually happened?
I was at school out of town in Elberton
So
County.
you were away from your children?
Yes, I was away from my kids. I was trying to do something positive, and they called me at school saying that it was a fire, and I was just shocked.
So, I mean, I guess you were scared to death on the
Yeah,
way
I was
home.
trying not to speed. I was going like 65 miles an hour.
But you found out your kids were okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the main thing, knowing that they was okay, no one was in the house. So I was relieved.
When you got here and you went inside for the first time, what did you see?
I was just devastated. I seen all my furniture burnt to a crisp, just black. No, all my pictures that I remember on my entertainment center was gone. I seen everything on the floor, and I was just
Is that pictures
shaking
of
my
your
head.
family and kid and things like that?
Old pictures. I played basketball in high school. All my trophies burned up. I've been having those for like 10 years now. All that
Lord.
stuff burned up, and I can't get that back.
You got a mom in town with any pictures we can kind of try to get some from? And
A
maybe
couple, wallet-sized pictures. Nothing like what I had, though.
Right.
Baby pictures from when my daughters were born. Family pictures and everything. Gone.
I see this all the time. And so this point is like a low point for you. I promise you it'll get better. I see it all the time, but I haven't had to go through it. What you're going through is just, right now it's just straight tough. Do you know right now where you're going to stay while this work's being done?
My brother came out last night when he heard what happened. He came right out and he said, he gave me a key. He was like, little sister, you can come to my place anytime.
So you got good family?
I got good family. I got my mama. She said I could come stay with her until I get back on my feet. So I'm very thankful to have them.
Sometimes you can swap it up, because if you stay 2 weeks at one place, you might want to go to the next one.
Yes, and he said he get kind of lonely out there, so he wants some company.
Oh, that's good.
Out there at
That's
that house.
good. So what about, just kind of going through sofa, love seat, chair. gone?
Sofa, yeah. Sofa, love seat, chair, entertainment center, kitchen table, refrigerator, all my personal pictures, laptops, cell phone with all my memories in it. I make music, I make beats. All my music was on that cell phone, you know.
My gosh.
Shoes, clothes that was on the sofa that I had just washed that I was gonna put up when I came home, that's burned. All my good clothes, you know, that I normally wear.
Hey,
burned.
it's gonna be all right, though. It is gonna be all right. I know it's just a horrible time for you.
You'd like to call Mitch for a dumpster swap?
Yeah, I just want to be a part of putting that stuff back for you. I want to be a part of getting you another sofa, getting you a love seat, getting you a chair just like what you had. Maybe better than what you had, an entertainment center. I sometimes get the opportunity, I don't view it like a job. Sometimes I get the opportunity to meet somebody like you, and I get to go in and help them out. And you know what? It's not just me helping you. I've had people help me my whole life. I wouldn't be where I am if I weren't supposed to be right here. And if you'll let me help you, I'd love to just come in and put everything back the way it was. And it'll be fine, it really will. If there's anything in there that's a personal, you know, item to you, like I'd mentioned before, maybe a grandma thing or something that was handed down, even if it's damaged, if you want us to look at it and see if we can try to fix it, you know, or repair it, or just clean it as good as we can. I mean, I've got stuff from my granddad, like knives and stuff. I would want them back if they were still had smoke on them.
Yeah.
You know, if you couldn't clean it off, I'd still want it back. So if there's anything like that, we'll take it and we'll do whatever we can with it.
Okay.
And, you know, like I said, we just wanted to be like it, you know, like this was just a bad dream and put it behind you.
Wow, I appreciate it.
Quickly gutting the property is the priority on day one of the job. But Luke is all too aware that precious belongings must be preserved during this difficult process. His duty of care paid off when he struck gold among the rubble.
She obviously was number 25. That's Janice. And it's got all of our teammates' signatures in here. We'll actually clean this, pump it up, probably put it into put it in a glass case or something like that. She probably would have seen this and saved it, but she didn't. But when you walk through here, you you just think everything's gone. But we'll make this look pretty again. This will be a good salvage right here.
While most of the house is damaged beyond repair, Luke has a trained eye for salvaging what he can from the shell of the structure.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking up under here.
Oh, we're gonna leave that.
Yeah. Because I think that it's just gonna be the regular old floor.
Yeah.
And we can build up right here. There's your hardwood.
Yeah.
So we can get back down to this hardwood. It'll be level with that.
Mm-hmm.
We can build this up with plywood because there'll be cabinets there.
And just sand and finish the whole thing. Well, that was an addition at some point.
Yeah, so who cares? I mean, we can put whatever there, but these they built in 1940.
Yeah.
This will be the best looking hardwood.
Yeah.
Normally on a job like this, it's about just a straight work and repair. It's about a 2 to 3 month job.
Okay.
But what our goal is, if we can get in here, because part of what we want to do in helping you is, I want to get your life back to normal. So if I can get in there and
it's like I keep
knock
just
it out.
thinking about my pictures and all my personal stuff that was in there.
That's hard to deal with.
But I know I can get it back, but it's just the thought of it.
A sofa's not a big deal, and I know that.
I've enjoyed every moment staying here. It's been real comfortable. I came from living in a 2-bedroom apartment to this house, so it was a step up.
Oh, you got it's your own place. You got a yard. You got your own little place
my
here.
kids came out here and played all the time. We get in the pool.
It's a nice place, and it's gonna be nice again, and it's gonna be what you call home again. And your landlord loves you to death. He said, do whatever you got to do to get her back in and get her taken care of. So
I can't believe it because I never met him.
There's something that makes him like you. You're important to him, and he wants you taken care of. This is a new beginning for you, and it can be. You got you're busting your tail going through school. I mean, you kind of look at it as, all right, this is a fresh start for me. It's a horrible way to start, but you're gonna finish strong. You're going to nursing school, you're gonna get your RN, and you're gonna be, I mean, you're gonna be working right up the street here at St. Mary's. And we'll work through it, and heck, at the end of this, we'll just be good friends.
Well, you know, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it if you did it for me.
That would be my request from you, that I can, if I can just help you do that. The building it back, that's nothing. We do that every day. But being able to help somebody, a friend, you know, in a time of need, that's what I want to do. And if I can do that, I mean, I'll be a happy guy. I'll be happier than you will, I promise you that.
I appreciate that. If you can really do that for me.
Oh, yeah, I will.
While the crew took little care and didn't hold back gutting Mrs. Cuspis's fire-damaged home, there was work to be done that required a more delicate touch. Mary and Janet were keen to salvage what they could from the ruins.
My name is Janet Gaffey. My job is a fire technician. I love it what I do. Oh, my goodness. That is bad.
Jan and I, we are a team. Mostly all the time, it's just me and her on fires. More than the water claims and other claims they guys have, my mainly is fires. Help Janet.
When we got here, the Gilbert fire, me and Mary, we saw the house is destroyed. It's like a total loss. Okay, Ropa. We have some clothes in here.
About to have a child herself, Mary's maternal instincts kicked in when she entered the children's bedroom.
Yes.
I feel bad because she have a kid, because I have a kid too, and that's the thing that kill me more, like, because the kids' toys, the clothes, and I know kids like to play every day with toys, and that's the one I want to help, and you know, to get the toys. Mostly, I tell Janet, I said, well, we can clean it up. She said, no, toys is not a way, it's safe for the kids to have back after a fire.
This is trash. Wait.
Well, we here in the Gilbert house, and we see it how is nothing there to be safe. Mostly the only things we grab it was just the clothes. The guys pick up the little things she want, like trophies, and I think it was just one table, and that's about it. The rest, it was destroyed from the fire.
Right here.
Take it. Yeah. No, it's more. It's the basket is in there.
Oh, the basket?
Yes. I'm bossy. Yes. Yes, I'm bossy. Because I want the job be done. Ah, yes. Let me put it right here. And let's do the closet too. Can we do the
We can take a break first. I cannot be in here. This is too bad.
Well, let me.
We need somebody else.
I continue if you want to. Just take a few minutes only.
Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm ready to go home.
Well, hurry up. Mary's the kind of person that nothing can touch her. Well, I don't want to get soot and black all over me. Stop complaining and do something.
I'm complaining because this is horrible. I don't want to
Yeah.
be. I know, but we have to do it.
So I mess with her and I throw stuff in there so she can get dirty. Anything else in here? I think it was a wig she threw me. Yeah, I threw her a wig. We usually try to have fun in the jobs. It's good about to laugh because it's very depressing to see a fire like that. A laugh don't hurt nobody. More bags in there?
It's just one.
Just one? I think we make a good team together, and that's why they used to see each other working, me and her.
Okay.
Fortunately, the landlord, Mr. Gilbert, did have the property insured. But unfortunately, Mrs. Cuspis didn't have contents insurance.
Hope not.
We get all the clothing out, and we bring it in here, and then we wash it and send it to the customer. When it's dishes, glasses, we can clean it in here too. And whatever there is damage, Usually we leave it in there and then we throw it away. But usually the customer have insurance and then they will replace that. But in this case, I guess she don't have any. So I guess they're gonna try to help her with, through church and stuff like that.
I tell you what, just look at it this way. This, as bad as it is this is the start of something brand new and something good. So let this be the first good thing that comes out of this. We're gonna get these out of here, get them clean for you. That'll be the first thing that happens.
The first thing that needed to happen back at the office was for General Manager Leif.
My name is Leif Hansford.
And Marketing Director Kara.
My name is Kara Knight.
To work out the insurance estimate on the Gilbert property.
So the Gilbert estimate will be a little different because when I have to write this estimate, then I have to keep in mind that this is the tenant, not the homeowner, and she obviously doesn't have insurance. So everything that we're kind of putting on there, we're giving back to her.
So it's going to be a big job to write. So we already do know this. The adjuster wrote an estimate to repair this house, and this is more Rob's deal, but I'm just going to let you in on it because I think mitigation is going to be included in this price. $70,000 is the estimate to get this house back to where she can live in it.
Okay.
He only has coverage at $45,000. So that's one of the issues. We're going to hopefully use cabinets and all kinds of stuff here to get the cost down. We're going to try to do it for that price. But so just when you write the mitigation, let's just see what it comes out to, because that's going to be all under that same coverage amount.
Okay.
But demoing that size of a house, like we're going to have to do.
Okay. So I'll look at some of the fire estimates. I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. But it's just a learning process.
I can meet with Kara sometimes and help her with estimates. She's pretty good at it, but every once in a while there'll be a line item or some type of labor she doesn't know how to enter, and we'll go over that and kind of finalize the estimate. We are, just so you know, it made me feel better, we're going to give her some furniture and try to help her, refurnish the house once it's done.
Perfect. Do we have furniture to give her?
We've got some from other, claims that have been lost that people didn't want.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
With the house completely stripped, Luke was keen to give his son Harris some on-the-job training and explain what caused the fire.
You just looked in this room, you know it started in this room.
Yeah.
So where would you think it started? The two most burnt spots.
Guess right here.
Right. So adjuster came and we told him we thought it started here, and the fire department said they thought it started here. And I told him the reasons I did, and he said, well, we don't have anything definitive, and he said, I think it started over there in the corner. Well, I don't think it started over there in the corner. It didn't burn through the drywall, and it did here.
Definitely not as bad over there.
So if you look down here, if you get down in here, here's most of the burnt ash, and you've got a nice pattern going right up here.
Yeah.
That's a flame pattern. Everything else in here was, smoke kind of billowing and the fire kind of rolling, but this is actually flames touching, and you can see that pattern. This is where it started. And I think it was electrical. There's not a, he said it might have been a cigarette, and I said, there's no evidence that somebody smoked cigarettes. So I didn't think it was that anyway, but it's clear it started there.
Is it faulty wiring or something else?
Well, it's a 1940s house, so, wire that old, that's 75-year-old wire, so it could be that. It probably needed to be updated, but that's not the fault of the owner. But if they had recently done some electrical work and it was done faulty, she could go out to the owner to replace all of her contents. But probably just an old box. If you see right here, this is an old metal box. So if you look now in all these houses, the new houses, they don't put metal boxes in anymore.
Yeah.
They put plastic in. So this was probably original wiring. You can see the insulation. You see that insulation around the wire?
Yeah.
It looks kind of like snaky.
Mm-hmm.
If you pull it, you see that it's almost like fibers.
Yeah.
They don't make that kind of wire anymore. They don't make that. All the insulation around the wire now is rubber. So this wire is probably 1940s wire. So it did really good for 75 years, and then
Until
it caught on fire. Yeah, so nobody's fault, you know. It's kind of Mother Nature, if you will, or, you know, an act of God, something that man can't control. And when people remodel, all they do is paint and flooring and trim.
David has seen a lot of disaster zones over the years, but this one took the cake.
Mr. Steve, he's kind of out there. Very big hoarder. He doesn't want to throw anything away.
Yeah, I worked hard selling everything, and so that's why.
And when we showed up, I was like, oh my God. You're not gonna go pull it out of the dumpster?
No, well, you know,
I mean, you get time to decide what you want to do.
That's why we're stacking it right there so you can look through
I'm
it.
trying not to pull stuff out of the dumpster. Hoarder, right. I'm, classic, I guess, textbook, been diagnosed, you know.
The beginning of each day at Black Dog Restoration starts with the morning meeting.
How much did y'all get done yesterday? The daily morning meetings are important. The most important part of them is figuring out who's going where.
All right. Ashley and Brett going to Kozlowski and then to Clements to meet the adjuster at 11. The most important part of the morning meetings for me is finding out, you know, I always have a schedule done, but it always changes. You know, we've got somebody on call 24/7. So I get in there in the morning with a set plan and I've got to find out from these guys what needs to change. Normally they tell me as soon as I've sat down and finished my schedule completely. They don't let me know ahead of time.
One guy will raise his hand up and say, I had a job come in last night. And that's whoever the on-call person is. And when they say that, everybody stops and listens. And we find out what it was. Okay, it might have been a water claim, and it might have been 10 rooms, and they got to move furniture. They got to tear out carpet today, got to tear out hardwoods, baseboard, drywall. So all of a sudden, nobody was going to go to that job. It wasn't on the schedule. And you got to figure out, with a full schedule, how to take guys off of other jobs and get them to a job and make a good showing and get all that work done. So the most important part of it is figuring out who's going where and what they need to accomplish in that day. It's like putting a puzzle together, but you're missing a few pieces every time.
But I guess the most important part is trying to adjust once I find out from them what they need to do on their jobs.
A new job that needed immediate attention was a house with a pipe leak, owned by Mr. Steve.
So the Steve call, we get in and he says, so it's a pipe break. He said it happened 3 days ago. He didn't realize how bad it was. Then he realized that he needed, you know, someone to come out and help him with the job. I sent David. He likes those kind of jobs. He's usually on the most interesting jobs.
My name's David Lee Ashley. I am a water technician here. If you go by my business card, though, I'm a project manager, so I like the project manager a little bit better.
David and his crew quickly hit the road, but upon arrival, he was in for an unpleasant surprise.
Mr. Steve, he's kind of out there. He's a very big hoarder. He doesn't want to throw anything away. When I actually called him about the job, he told me his basement had a lot of stuff in it, I'm thinking it was organized stuff. I didn't think it was stuff piled up all the way to the ceiling. And when we showed up, I was like, oh my God.
When David got there, he called me, and some things I can't, repeat, but there's a whole lot of stuff here, and we need a lot of help to get it out.
When we get there, we saw water on the floor, but we also saw a lot of stuff in it. So, and the smell, it was very strong, and I just right away, I thought this guy got a lot of mold in here. And we told him, you got a big problem here, man. The amount of junk this guy has in his house is unbelievable. I mean, everything is just full, from floors all the way to the top. I mean, you can't even walk in the house. It was ridiculous how to get in the house and just make a pack just to check everything, It's one of the worst houses I've ever seen working here in 6 years, honestly. We need a beer, I guess.
Cerveza.
Cerveza, the big one, the Corona like this.
All this stuff came from a house, that's right. All this stuff came from a house up in, that I sold up there. It was a short-term rental. Hoarder, right. I'm, classic, I guess, textbook, been diagnosed, Yeah. I mean, I actually started kind of kicking into hyperdrive in my early 50s, which if you do any research on it, a lot of times that's when it really gets bad, And so having jumped out of planes for a living in the 80s, I was an airborne and a ranger and then a special forces unit, and I was the head injury kid, So I'm like, maybe this is something to do with, maybe when I had all those concussions, they told me I should get checked, maybe I should have. But for whatever reason, anxiety, I also have this little thing with writing on my hand. But I actually went just to say, hey, why am I writing on my hand and why am I having a hard time clearing out stuff, The crazy thing is, I grew up in a household, my father was completely type A personality, OCD. Everything had to be exactly in its place. Now, my grandfather and his side of the family, Dad was the white collar, was the blue collar side and working class, and they were all kind of cluttered, especially Grandpa. Grandma kept Grandpa in check. But, it's amazing sometimes because I will gather stuff up and then purge. My children's mother, she tries to keep everything neat, but then also I'm anal about things like dishes in the sink, about the bathroom being clean. I don't like dirty in my space. So that's the other catch-22, Sometimes with 4 kids and grandkids, they're like, how can you be so messy here, but at the same time be so picky about others? So it's kind of makes for an interesting mix. And this right here, I'm looking at this as a godsend, maybe a blessing, because I've been wanting to clean out this basement, I realized it's kind of been the holding area, so we can keep the upstairs looking good. All the Christmas stuff comes down here when the kids outgrow stuff, But like I said, I had really gotten a hold on it, and a couple years ago, I actually had a living space down here. My daughter was staying down here before she got married, had her kids. But I had a place that I'd bought up in Helen, Georgia, and it was short-term rental. We used it some, had it fully furnished. When I sold it, the people bought it, did not want anything, you know. And it was pretty neat because we had it on a rental program. So everything got sent to this basement. And I got severely depressed. I mean, it was like, man, I just worked on cleaning that out. So now it's been the slow go trying to do the process of elimination.
Just in the box, and then you go through that.
That's fine. It's beautiful, man.
All right.
I want to be easy to work with, man.
This wasn't the first disaster Mr. Steve has had to endure. Having owned several properties, he knows just how devastating water damage can be.
Anybody that knows anything about houses, whether you own rental homes or you're in real estate, water is your biggest enemy. I mean, I've had a house burned to the ground, had 2 houses burned, 2 house fires and a couple of floods. But the house fires are devastating, but water, just like I happened to go to New Orleans after Katrina, and, you know, I was amazed at how much damage just the floating water did. Now, if you went to Biloxi looked like they dropped an A-bomb because of the impact of the water, you know, pushing buildings. But New Orleans was just, when water's standing, it destroys everything.
All right, but we'll get it done. I mean,
Okay.
you see,
No, I'm
we got
impressed
this.
already. Yeah, already we got a lot. Yeah, looking good, man. Looking
We're
real
taking
good.
some breaks because it's kind of hot in here.
Yeah,
but,
I believe it's hot upstairs too from this stuff,
Yeah.
you know. What happened here was basically a braided line on the hot water heater, a flexible steel line. At some point, started leaking, spraying, and basically we had hot water everywhere, ceiling to floor, you know, 4 inches in the floor, and just like if you could imagine a steam bath. It was very much that. And I'd been gone for a day or so. Got home, couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the house cool. You know, I'm like, man, it's not as bad outside. I'm about to move outside. And I kind of went over toward the basement door, and I could feel the heat. Had to pry it open.
When Mr. Steve first suspected he had a problem downstairs, he was reluctant to take action.
Well, at first I was just going to hide it, kind of, because it was a holiday weekend. I'm like, well, we'll figure this out. Let's just enjoy the weekend. And then went back down there in the weekend and started seeing, you know, some mold formation, which there was probably already some there. But definitely, since I'd kind of been through this process before with the rental house, I wasn't looking forward to it, kind of put it off, but it did make things, you know, a bit hectic. I mean, I know most of it falls back on me. Okay. Y'all are like my new best friends. This is like a blessing for me. You know,
Jesus is here to help you.
Disaster,
Jesus
you
is
know,
here to help.
I think I'm the master disaster, not the water. So ask my wife; she'll tell you.
Mr. Steve's house may well look pristine from the outside, but his basement was a completely different story. And David knew he would have his hands full restoring order.
Okay, from this flood, it was a huge amount of damage. Everything was wet. Everything is moldy, just a disaster. And he made it sound like it wasn't that big of a deal, that he wanted to take care of it himself. And then I come in and see it, and I'm like, no, this is something that you cannot handle yourself. I mean, you need expert work to get that job done. It's not something that you're gonna manage on your own.
First, I'm like, I'm not gonna file a claim. This is a mess. I'm a hoarder. I'm gonna take care of it myself. And of course, started working on it. It was holiday weekend. Said, hey, I'll let it go till Monday. And I finally said, no, there's no way. You know, I called my insurance adjuster. He was out of town, so I went ahead and filed the claim. So believe it or not, I had just cleared out all this. My daughter was living down here, my oldest daughter. When I moved all this stuff from Helen back, I didn't have anywhere to put it. I'm like, why store it? I got my basement empty. I put everything in here, and to be honest, I got severely depressed.
While Mr. Steve's hoarding may look out of control, he's quite pleased with his organized chaos.
Yeah, the hoarding is, I mean, because when you have family, you know, everybody's got different, you can't have it everywhere. I have to have my, like, spaces, almost like Dad or Granddad had the garage or the shed, and I'm kind of that same way. If you look, I can take you to my shed or my garage, and actually I have a limousine in this top shed, and if you look behind it, there's a lot of stuff behind it. You know, here's this limousine sitting, behind it is all cluttered. And then I have a little obsession with some bicycles, other stuff, because we ride bikes a lot. Like I bought that trailer from one of my tenants. It's full of bikes. There's 15 bikes in there probably. This is actually, I bought this from a tenant at one of my houses that was behind on his rent and kind of traded out. But I needed somewhere, it was actually a snowmobile from his father or grandfather, but it's where I store a lot of our bikes. And this is just a sampling. So I got other bikes over here as well. But you can see I got a little mix here. This one I just picked up because my kids seem to trash them from Academy Sports. I like Schwinn's because they're cheaper priced. I got one of the fat tire things that looked bossy. This I found in the weeds at an abandoned train yard, and came and pulled it up. I think some homeless person may have stolen it, and I figured it was worth some money because it had an all-leather seat. It was a very lightweight frame. I've never owned a bike but the frame's $600. It's a called a Bianchi, and I'm not a bike expert. But I do have, back here on the backside is some mountain bikes. A lot of these are cruisers because we bike a lot. Here's a folding bike. This is they call that an iPad. I've got folding bikes for my entire family, including my father-in-law. I like them to be comfortable. But this would definitely be part of the hoarder issue too. You can see I pick up baskets if they're on sale, bike accessories, but my kids kind of laugh. These actually come from the dollar store and some tie straps. These are my favorite baskets because they're only $1. And I attach them with tie straps, so. Almost smells as moldy in here as it does in my basement. So, why we need 15 bikes? We only got 5 or 6 of us riding at any given time, but you know, gotta have a mountain bike, gotta have a hybrid, gotta have a cruiser for the beach, you know. It's kind of starting to spill over into my vehicles though, which is really disturbing. I have to keep like, you know, you can see I got a Jeep, I've got an F-250 truck, you know, for the rental houses and for the camper. I got a Toyota hybrid, got the limousine, but anyway, I have to have multiple vehicles because one will be crapped out, you know, like the truck or the Jeep, and then I got to have one that I can, just like I picked up my daughters earlier, that I can, so it's kind of interesting. It's actually something that can get expensive too because people don't realize, but you know, you don't think like they were telling me about some millionaires that they had that were really bad hoarders that they did a job on. Of course, I'm not there, but it's interesting that you have, you know, it crosses over different socioeconomic classes. So I want y'all to look upstairs too so you can see it. The whole house isn't quite like this.
Except the bedroom.
Except the bedroom, man. The bedroom is...
It's more private thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. At least there's plenty of room on the bed for nighttime activities, you know. But it's,
I can't continue to tell you how nice of a guy he was, but just he's got a mental problem and it's really affecting him. And when a guy told me how nice and clean his upstairs was in his house, I'm like, okay. And I go in there and the main level's fine. And then he takes me up to his bedroom to look at his bedroom. And I said, oh my God. I mean, piled, our clothes piled from floor to the ceiling, just all the way around. And then he said his wife's side of the room was all super clean and neat and all this. No, it was a disaster too. Nothing but furniture stacked up here, there. I mean, you had a path about this wide to walk all the way through the whole bedroom. It was just terrible.
You can see our living room probably looks like a normal family living room. Everything's got a history, of course. Prior to the downturn in the economy, I'd gotten too big for my britches and I bought a 40-foot Georgie Boyd motorhome. These sofas here were all part of that motorhome. I had them all reupholstered where we had, this is a sleeper, this is a sleeper. Odd looking, that was another sofa. Had them all upholstered to match, but when I ended up getting rid of the motorhome, I couldn't part with the sofas. So I said these would be good in our bedroom, or in our living room rather. And my kids left that over there. Now you shift from there. I just recently got this screen so I could keep my area, my little desk where I do all my stuff. Here's my business area. Obviously it's a whole different world. I get a lot of paperwork. I got multiple rental houses, 17, 18 properties, so I get stuff on those and try to keep organization as much as I can. Of course, right now I'm working on the disaster thing with listing out my stuff that that was damaged downstairs. That's my limo line, believe it or not. I have a little small limousine service too, so when you got 4 kids and grandkids, you got to multitask, you know. Limousines, real estate, none of it makes too much money, and hoarding. Those are my 3 big things in life.
I do kind of feel bad for his daughters because they're going to grow up and going to think that's okay probably. And, you know, that's not right. That's not a way to live. Nothing against Mr. Stieb, but he's a mess.
This one's got your name written on it too. Yeah.
We camp all summer long, and my happiest days, the best time for my family is when I'm a trailer trash, when I'm living in that trailer. It's really works out well for me. So, you know, I think that's the only reason she teaches school. She likes camping all summer because you can't harden a trailer. I got a little space, you know, it's 30 feet long. The bedroom's as big as this corner here.
You'll have to let us see it.
Oh, man, it's cool. We actually just bought a new one, man. I'm probably going to be living in it. She says that's the only way to keep me contained. Instead of going bigger, I got to go smaller. So I don't. If I end up at a house after my kids are gone, it's going to be one of these tiny houses, man, where I can only keep the stuff in my cargo pockets. Well, I guess how it impacts the family, obviously there's an element of guilt for me because I don't want them to feel embarrassed or feel feel ashamed, but so I do try to keep it contained and keep it in my area. But I have found in my kids it's very interesting because my youngest, my only boy, or my only son, my baby, is very much a minimalist. I mean, he likes 2 pairs of shoes, and so I'm trying to learn from him. It's like, you know, here my dad was this major organized person, but my son has really tried to be a minimalist. He don't, you know, I'm like, son, you need another pair of tennis shoes. He's like, Dad, I got a pair of dress shoes, a pair of tennis shoes. I don't need anything else. So God bless him, man. He doesn't require a lot. My girls are interesting. One of them is a clean freak. The other one has got definitely a bit of dad. Tara, her middle name is Tara Michael, and so she's got a little bit of dad in her. But she knows when it gets built up, Mom will raise Cain. She cleans out a room. I carry the bags out. I mean, this dumpster came from the insurance company. The other dumpster on the other side, I pay for that monthly.
Hoarding is good. I'm going on it.
But it does adversely affect the family, and traveling is much better than staying home, you know. Eventually, we'll definitely, when the kids are gone, go to a smaller space where I'm more contained. But, you know, they handle it pretty well. They laugh at me. I mean, one thing we have learned is you got to keep a sense of humor in life, you know. Shit happens, pardon my expression, but you gotta keep a sense of humor about it. You got to look at your own downfalls, you know. I used to think all my stuff was manageable. Yeah, I had a little problem with papers because I got a lot of mail, I'd stack stuff, but, you know, I'm able to, or I hope I'm able to be mindful. That's one of the things I don't think medication works so well, but mindfulness helps when you know. One funny thing, Teresa says that I have color blindness. She took some pictures one day of my side of the bedroom, of the garage, and showed them to me, and she said, do you see this? And I'm like, God, I do see it, you know, now, on there, but I don't see it. She's like, obviously you don't see it when you come in the room. It doesn't bother you, you know, you're okay with your surroundings, you're comfortable. But when you look at it, like, photographed, it's like, oh my God, is that me? You know, it's almost like an ulterior state, an alter ego, or I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but I'm working very hard to stay sane with and still be the hoarder.
Throughout the job, Mr. Steve continues to hoard. After each day the crew spent clearing out Mr. Steve's basement, he would scavenge through the dumpster and bring items back into the house.
Anything you decide's garbage, it can be garbage, man.
Well, you're not gonna go pull it out of the dumpster, though.
No, well, you know,
I mean, you get time to decide what you want to do.
That's why we're stacking it right there, so you can look through it.
I'm trying not to pull stuff out of the dumpster because I really don't need the shit.
First day we're out there, we get maybe 10 things in the dumpster, and then he's done pulled half that back out. And then the next day, nothing else hardly goes in the dumpster. He doesn't want to get rid of anything. I can't tell you the amount of stuff that we pulled out of his basement that are brand new crap. You know, I bet we pulled out 25 brand new heaters in boxes, which I can understand keeping that. But when you just want to keep up papers that are stacked up to your ceiling, that makes no sense. And he's talking about how he still needs that. No, you don't need that. That's trash.
So the labor cost is more expensive on the job like this because as we take things and we put them in the dumpster, he's pulling them out of the dumpster and putting them into storage. So that just doubles our time, and that needs to be reflected in the cost of the job.
Y'all, we gotta work on this fella. We gotta make sure he's gonna let us throw some of that stuff away.
On the next edition of Master of Disaster, Mr. Steve's basement is finally cleared out, and he starts making plans.
If somebody needs to come stay with us for short-term or long-term, they got their own bathroom. I may put a little kitchenette down there. They got their own bedroom.
Well, I want to get this off of the fence. I want to get that edge off the fence.
On this edition of Master of Disaster, Luke goes the extra yard on Mrs. McDonald's hurricane-damaged backyard.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming in so quickly because we were in Atlanta, my kids and I and the dogs, and we knew something happened. We knew there were holes in the roof.
And not everything goes to plan in a deeply flooded car park.
No! Ash. actually.
When we came back on the island last night, we saw that the water had been soaked up shot backed out, and the roof had a tarp over it to prevent further water damage in case of rain. The tree limbs that were on the house from the storm were removed, and we were very fortunate that we were able to come back to a dry house and not have the risk of any more water damage or mold and mildew smells with the kids and the dogs, and it was safe to come home at that point in time.
So Miss McDonald's tree the root ball was huge. We took a picture in front of it. It actually was a pretty cool picture. Probably 100-year-plus old tree. Who knows how many tons it weighed. It was huge. It fell directly on her back porch and into her main part of her house. 4 of us spent a couple of days over there working on that, trying to get that tree off her house so we didn't prevent any further damage. So when did y'all get back?
We got back last night about 10 p.m.
You knew beforehand you had a tree on your house from your neighbors, I guess?
Yes, yes.
And when we came out, it was all over the tree, and we obviously couldn't get in. We knew the back window was damaged, and so with the insurance, what we try to do is get everything off the house, protect your house from further damage. And so you still got some areas that are insurance related or covered that we haven't gotten to, and we're still going to actually do a little bit of cutting today. But like the fence, I mean, it's damaged all the way around, even on that side over there. Well, I want to get this off of the fence. I want to get that edge off the fence. I want to get that tree right there off the fence. And then you've got probably about 5 small holes and maybe 10 altogether. Some are even hard to see. So it's tarped. Temporary repairs is what they call it, and that's what it is. So, you know, if the guys are going to come roof your house or whatever, I would definitely, you know, get them on it ASAP. Right. Because this will hold, but you've got winds and you've got other things, and it's just, you know, it's designed to be up there for a couple of days. Harris, you gonna hang out up there, or?
Well, you guys over there coming up with a plan's pretty cute, but how about y'all come over and help me work?
Despite Luke's best intentions, tempers frayed throughout the team's work in the field.
I guess Harris he's gonna trim the top of a probably about a 2-foot tree with a pair of red tip clippers. So I was on the roof and I needed a rope because I wanted to transport materials up and down, and for a drill or a chainsaw or a bucket of nails and things like that. And Andy was the closest one on the ground, I guess, and so I was having him send me up some stuff. Send me the drill. I don't know, there's not a school that you go to tie knots, but I mean, I learned how to tie my shoes at an early age, and I can tie a knot. Feel like I'm at the dadgum fair at the Go Fishing game. I wasn't asking him to tie, you know, a Boy Scout knot, but just something to hold it long enough to get the tool up to the roof. Tug on it, Andy. Tell me when it's on there. Tie it tight. I haven't looked at his shoes since then. Probably he wears Velcro shoes. I don't know. I was concerned that it wasn't gonna make it up.
Come on, Andrew.
What are you tying, a Boy Scout knot?
Half the knots Andy would tie, they'd just fall apart before things even got halfway up to him. Nice, Andy. So then I came in and helped Andy out. The poor fella just doesn't really know how to tie knots. He never made it through Boy Scouts, I guess. And so I came in and taught him how to tie a simple knot. And the next knot he tied was great. Now you gotta do it again. It's gonna be difficult because you're not true. What's wrong with you? I told him, give a man a fish he eats for a day. So that's just if I tie the knot for him, but you teach a man how to fish and he eats for a lifetime. And I taught Andy how to fish by teaching him how to tie that knot.
It's tied as well.
All right.
Andy tied it.
Oh, it'll never come off.
This is ready whenever you are.
I gave him a hard time.
We'll go over it tonight, Andy.
Harris intervened, and we were able to get the stuff on the roof without any damage.
The challenges continued at the McDonald property.
It's a steep roof. You need special shoes or toe boards. Toe boards is basically you're taking a 2x4 and you screw it into the decking of the roof, screw it through the shingles, and that gives you something to step on that'll hold you up on the roof. I wanted some toe boards, so I asked them to give me some toe boards and that they could even start the screws into some of them and then rope them up to me. And I kept hearing this noise, and it sounded like a drill bit was stripping out a Phillips head screw.
Is that a Phillips head?
Yeah, this thing sucks.
And Harris was the one with the drill, and he was down there, and you could hear it. And it was, I knew what the sound was because I'd done it myself.
That's tearing up the Phillips head bit.
It's a different kind of bit. I told him get that bit, and I told him to get the shiny screws because they don't strip.
Is that a Phillips head bit you're using?
Yeah.
I yelled down, I don't want to use those screws.
Oh, you do?
And then he hollers back up that that wasn't what he was doing.
What do you don't even know what's happening on.
And how did I know? Because I couldn't see him, which I couldn't. He was up under the porch, and I was on the roof.
It's an impact drill or some shit. He heard the impact drill making a noise. It sounds like the screws stripping out, but in reality, it was just an impact drill. And so me and him got into an argument, and I knew I was right because I'm literally looking at what I'm doing, and he couldn't see what I was doing. And it's about irritating his head.
He got angry a couple times and was, you know, dang it, this thing, I can't get this.
I hate this thing.
Harris and I kept butting heads on this thing.
Some kind of argument started. Dad was up on the roof, and he wanted like a star bit.
That's that noise I was hearing earlier, ain't it, Harris?
So I knew that's what that noise was.
Please give me the hex head screws.
When me and Dad get into an argument, the other people working here usually just kind of sit and watch and laugh because I have a relationship with him that like they don't have, and I can kind of say things that like they wouldn't dare say. You're the one who brought these over here.
What?
Who brought these over here?
I did.
Who?
Oh, if I come off of it, I'm gonna beat your ass.
And so I guess he was still mad about that whole thing because he was wrong, but he's usually wrong, but it just, sometimes he doesn't know that, but it's difficult for him when he's wrong too.
It's nice because these screws only go part way in, so you got like a 50-50 chance of busting your ass.
And he threw the Phillips head bit down and it like hit me right in the chest. What the freak is wrong with you? You think that felt good? And I was pretty mad about that.
I threw it down to you, son.
I didn't see that shit. It hit me in the chest.
Okay, now the other bit's down there.
They're both down here, and I don't know where either of them is.
Harris, you weren't looking. I was throwing it to you. You obviously didn't see it. I get that.
I'm talking about the one that fell over there. When me and Dad are on jobs, we argue a lot, but I mean, we're around each other like constantly, so at work, at home.
Look.
One hit me and fell right here.
That's the one I threw down. That's the one I don't give a shit if it went in a 10-foot hole.
Okay, I knew which one it was.
The other one that you threw, look.
I don't think the one I threw hit me in the chest.
Didn't say it did. Why are you scrubbing around over there? Look.
Because I'm trying to find the bit that fell. So we're literally always around each other, and we have the exact same personality, so it's bound to happen. You ready?
All right, next thing I'm gonna need some hex head screws.
He never admitted to it, but I know what he was doing, so, because I've done it before, but that little debacle was over, and then we went back to work. Or the day she came, we realized she had She had 2 dogs. She had 2 standard poodles, and the tree did a lot of damage to their wooden fence in the backyard. It was a big privacy fence, but it also kept, dogs in. So we actually cut those places as well. We took the tree off of those. People see it on a house, they come by and slice it off the house and leave. Well, naturally, because I've got pets and love dogs, I was thinking about the dogs being outside and getting, loose from the backyard and her losing her dog. So we took and got the broken boards and used them where we could, and got the boards that had come apart that weren't broken and patched up the fence in a couple of places so the dogs would stay in.
And you can screw down there at the bottom right into the tree.
That was just kind of a little extra we threw in there, and just didn't want dogs to get out.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming in so quickly, because we were in Atlanta, my kids and I and the dogs, and we knew something happened. We knew there were holes in the roof, but we were scared of rain, and then there was just a relief knowing that we would come back and be able to stay in our own house, and the window was boarded up and sealed, and so I can't tell you how much that meant.
Oh, we're glad to do it. I mean, it's what we do, and we enjoy it, to a certain extent. We don't enjoy people having disasters happen, but we like to be the ones that get called out, and so we're, glad to do it.
I'm so extremely happy and thankful for the Black Dog guys, because if you guys did not come in and remove the tree and tarp it and everything that was done before we even could make it home from Atlanta with the island being open, we would have to be relocated to another hotel or someone's house. It would not have been livable, so I can't express my gratitude enough.
With the McDonald residence done and dusted, the restoration crew traveled across the hurricane-ravaged St. Simons Island to their next job. The scale of flooding in the commercial property would be a challenge for Luke.
So this one's actually, I thought it was just an L shape right over there, but it goes over there and then back in, and it goes. We arrived at our spot, and it's a part of the resort that has underground parking, or at least below grade parking. It's pretty ritzy. So I don't think we got enough equipment for it, and I don't think we can do it. I mean, I don't think we can do it that quick. They're flooded areas, and they're areas that we gotta get the water out of and get them dry.
When I first saw it, I was actually kind of excited because I knew that we were going to be making really good money. Once we got the flood doors off, we walked inside, and there was 2 to 4 inches of water throughout almost the entire parking deck.
Stay.
Luke's trusty companion, Si, couldn't resist the opportunity for a quick surf before getting to work.
The overwhelming thing about this was one garage was over 22,000 square feet. So multiply that times 6 inches, and then you got something that's pretty, oh, how are we gonna get it done? It's huge. We got guys, we got equipment, but it's gonna take some time. Well, let's see what kind of equipment we got, and then come back over here and start sucking water out. All right. It was a mess. There was no power at all down there.
Not having any power there definitely played a huge factor, but we had the generator running and helped a little light there. We'd walk around with headlamps, and being such a big area, it was pretty dark.
Si?
You mean to crank it up?
Work? Yeah, crank her up.
With the generator fired up, the crew went to work with their water extracting vacuum cleaners.
You're doing very good.
Why don't you go get those 2 push brooms off of the black truck and bring them down here, bring both of them, we'll push it to him.
It was a little overwhelming at first, seeing the big area it was that flooded, but once you start doing the work, it wasn't bad at all.
There's a couple of drains. If you see a drain, let's push it to the drain. We actually sucked water out of, and this was Category 3 water, which is not clean water.
Those drains suck.
If you measure it in terms of gallons, cubic foot, that's going to have about 7 gallons of water, which it doesn't seem like it would. Well, that's a lot. So if you multiply that times the square footage and figure out how many thousands and thousands of gallons of water we extracted, it's a big deal. After we were done extracting the water, we were ready to set up equipment. We had a 60 kilowatt generator. I'll get this as far away as I can. I was going to run the flex back that way, run a piece down this line right here, and then run from that one back.
We got all our equipment, got everything extracted to get set up to start drying. And we're running around with flashlights, barely could see anything in this place. And Luke and I are talking about where we're setting the equipment, and he mumbles to me, it'll be a miracle if we can get this going.
Go get a couple of dehues and a fan, 10 fans, and take them to that other generator down there. When we got it set up, and we use what's called spider boxes or power distribution boxes to distribute the power.
This is your exhaust. That right there is where your dry air is coming out.
This is my dry air.
Yes, that's your exhaust. Get these tubes that we run off our desiccant dehumidifiers and run them this way and that way. It's a very big space, and just keep rolling it and rolling and rolling, and cut holes in them and get them ready to put, and then tie a knot at the end of it so we can blow dry air out and disperse it evenly as best we can.
That'll be good right there, Ashley. Just cut it right there and tie a knot in. There's also, they have, down in that area, they have a huge electrical room. All the electrical panels are there. We could tap into the electrical panels and get tons of power to power our stuff, but we couldn't because there was no power, so we had to do the generator. So we hooked it up. You distribute it based on the number of watts that your fans use, you know, and I know how much, my fans are using 3 watts apiece. All right, I'm gonna turn them all on. I'm gonna just put them on one. Some of my dehumidifiers are using 15 watts apiece, some of them are using 6, some of them are using 12. You add all that stuff up, you put it on there so that it's properly distributed. It's all about the amps, isn't it, Ashley? All right, ready to start up? And when, you know, you crank the generator up and everything is supposed to run. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We turn on the fans first. They're on a separate circuit. Everything's going okay. We start to turn on our dehumidifiers. We start running more power out of it, and you hear it crank. The generator start to crank up a little bit more and idle a little higher.
Should feel the air.
Starting to feel the air.
All right, I'm gonna turn this one on. You turn that one. Okay.
And then we're like, maybe this is going to work. And then all of a sudden it kicks off. We're like, great. So basically we're back to square one.
Ashley, you just took the wind out of my sail. One of the breakers tripped on the generator, and because it had 2 big spider box plugs where you plug in and you pull off 50 amps each. And then it had 2 just regular, what you'd see in a house, 20 amp regular receptacles. Those kept tripping. We need it. We need it, Ashley.
I would say Luke was pretty frustrated at the time. He and I both were working as far as getting everything ready to run. And here it is, we've got a 50,000 k-watt huge generator, and we can't get our equipment to run.
Plug something into it. Give it some of your superpower.
And as he keeps telling us an unbalanced load or something like that's going on with it, I honestly think there was something wrong with the generator.
If we don't get this, we're screwed on this whole entire job. Frustration level was probably 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. I was frustrated beyond belief. I was tired, exhausted. Breaker, breaker. And then we'd redistribute, put power in different places, unplugging stuff. Serious. It's getting serious, ain't it, Si? Yeah! Yeah! Good? Start back up the generator, and it would run for a little while, and then we would try to add a few things. I'm gonna hit it! cut off. No. Come on, Ashley. Come on, Ashley.
I wouldn't say it's pointing a finger at me, per se. Luke is. I would say, you know, Luke is just like Ashley. We need something going here, man. We need something going.
What does it say in the fault is?
All the breakers are off.
Yeah, I don't usually. It would say power interruption or unbalanced power. It had a readout on it, but the power wasn't unbalanced. I mean, it's just math. And so I knew we did the math right. We're into hours of work now. Just on this, just on equipment. At this point, I'm kind of looking for a small miracle. Is it the GFIs?
And then Luke said, Ashley, we need a miracle. We need something to happen. And then all of out of nowhere, all the lights to the parking deck, come on.
Amps is unbalanced. Literally out of the blue, the lights came on down in the garage, and I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. Hey, Ashley. Oh, buddy. I didn't know you could do that. Jeez, man. That's impressive.
And so therefore we had another way to distribute the power. And so I started thinking quick, because I'm frustrated as I can be, that we have outlets in these rooms that we're working in on the resort. And we can start plugging our fans in and at least get our desiccant dehumidifiers running off the generator.
But don't unplug whatever you put in there to make the lights come on. Take these fans right here and start plugging them in there. We're in business. That moment was miraculous to me, and I'm not a person that believes much in coincidence. For me, it was more than just a moment of, oh, our equipment's gonna be running now. We got to plug in every single one of these little side rooms. I felt like that it was God's hand in the thing, saying, I'm gonna help you, because I was at my wit's end, and Ashley was too. And I mean, there couldn't have been a better time for that to happen. What'd you stick in that machine?
Yes, it did seem like a miracle. It seemed like somebody was looking after Luke and I and had it to where we could get our goals accomplished.
We got it now. We got it. We're golden.
On the next edition of Master of Disaster, more hurricane damage on St. Simon's Island.
The branches appeared to have completely flattened the neighbor's porch.
On this edition of Master of Disaster, after Mrs. Clemens' basement was flooded, Luke walks her through the repairs.
Again, in here, the bases of the cabinets are particle boards, so they're wet. You can't repair that.
There was a lot of water in here.
So your base cabinets here, and over there, those are gonna have to come out because there's just too much water damage.
And Rob has options for the rebuild.
Also to paint the walls. So if you want to change the color of the walls, we can do that too.
I want to change that color,
Okay.
but
You want to change it to this color?
probably
So it's all uniform?
correct.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that. That's not a problem.
We are leaving Watkinsville. Just want to let you know we were on the way. Yep. Okay. See you soon. Okay. Bye.
So I'm assuming if we're going an hour and some change, it's a decent job or what?
The description was that it was 7 rooms wet, and that's what she said. So I think this one is actually going to be what we expect it to be.
So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch over a basement.
With a vineyard.
And she's got it's for sale. So she really wants us to do all we can do.
You turned around?
Yes.
Come on down that street to the back of this house.
Oh, okay.
Well, our flood happened in the middle of the night. I got a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning and came down to the basement level and stepped into water, which was pretty frightening. And but there wasn't anything to do except turn the water off and wait until morning. So we did that, and I called my insurance company right away, and they sent the restoration crew over, which was pretty early in the morning. I was very, very pleased that somebody came right away and got started with seeing all the damage that was done.
Yeah. Hey, look, Leif, I'm gonna pick this fridge up. You pick that one up, and then let one of them yank it out.
The flood happened at the Clemens house to one of the tenants waking up and standing up into a puddle of water. And they obviously had been running for quite some time, and they never heard it. I would think I would hear a spraying noise or something. That'd wake me up. But then again, I can hear a cat walk across carpet, and it can wake me up.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just take it back by.
And it was the toilet line, the plastic that goes onto the tank itself. It's not a matter of if it breaks, it's when it breaks. That's what I tell everybody. If it's on there too tight, it's gonna crack, and it's gonna make a mess.
Oh, the water's on. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's on top. They've already fixed it.
I got you. It's split.
Mm-hmm.
Split right there. Well, I don't think we should take. I mean, if we take that out, he's not gonna have a lavatory.
Right, he needs a place to have a sink, so.
What's wrong with your shirt?
What do you mean, what's wrong with my shirt?
It's a different color.
Than yours?
Oh, you're not sweating.
Yeah, I didn't pour water all over myself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just sitting there and take it easy.
Whatever.
After a general inspection of the property, it was time to fire up the industrial vacuum to dry the carpet that could be saved. But given the extent of the flooding, the majority of the carpet would have to be thrown away.
Just go all the way around to the furthest spot. All right. Just through there.
The carpet is coming out very fast. It's coming out of rapid motion. Just as soon as Luke rips it, it's rolled up, it's out to the truck. Because the carpet pad is folded up, put into a trash bag, slung over the shoulder, and it's going to the truck. Felt real bad for Miss Clemens because she's had nowhere she's going to put her tenants while the repairs are being done. She was real worried about them and their things, and she's a very religious lady, and she was talking about how things happen because the Lord intends them to happen that way and that sort of thing. She was like 1 in 100 that you would want to work for.
Hard on the man's tools.
It's wet all the way down that wall.
There's a big old cockroach in there.
Yeah, I saw that. He's probably about 1.5 pounds. I'm gonna get her a sample. So what the insurance will pay for is what you had before. So if you do want to change anything up, now would be the time to obviously do it, but they'll pay for this carpet. We'll take a sample out, send it to them, and they'll send it to a company called ITEL, and they'll value the carpet. Okay. So they'll give you an allowance for the carpet. Okay. And if you want to change it out or go back with a different color, a different kind, or a different floor, if you're looking at wood or laminate, that's totally up to you. Just consider, like right here, when you take up this, you've got tile that's about 1/4 of an inch tall. So whatever butts up to it is going to be relevant. So if it's a hard surface floor, you don't want too big of a change.
Right. Okay.
Because of that. Now with carpet, you're fine because you're going from hard to soft, and nothing's going to trip you or anything like that. So you want whatever meets it to be about the same height.
Well, how will I know?
Well, your flooring person will be able to tell you. I mean, if we were doing the flooring, I could tell you this is a good laminate floor. It's about 3/8. It's going to meet up to this because you've got grout up under this, and it's about 3/8.
All right, I got you.
So just think about that. If there's going to be any difference, we'll say this is your insurance allowance, and then it's going to cost this much more, in addition to the allowance, in order for you to get the floor you want. If you go back with just carpet, we'll put this right back in. It costs you nothing. They will probably come into this room where the water went up, and they'll probably come in and cut out baseboard because the baseboard gets wet, and behind the baseboard is wet sheetrock. So you can't see it, but if you pop it off, you'll see that the drywall's wet, and we've got to get it dry. If we don't, it could mold, and we don't want that.
With the fans?
Yes, ma'am. That's what all the fans are for. And that's one of the reasons I want to walk through with you now, because it's going to be really loud when we put all the equipment installs, and it's all on and it's all blowing around. It's going to be really loud. And me and you talking right now, we wouldn't be able to hear each other.
I got you.
So walking on along, this might be one of the few doors that didn't damage real bad. But if you notice down at the bottom, where it's flaking some, that's from the water getting the bottom of the door wet. Same thing over here. You see down here this water line. So this is a particle board product, and so if it's wet, it doesn't dry back the same. If it swells up that big, it'll dry the same size, and so the integrity's been compromised. It's not going to be as strong. So these base cabinets all along here, they'll have to be replaced. The door, because of the damage at the bottom of it, it's what's called a hollow core door. So the edging all around the door is made out of particle board. So if it swells up, you have to replace it. So you can't really sand it down like a solid door. Again, in here, the bases of the cabinets are particle board, so they're wet. You can't repair that.
There was a lot of water in here.
So your base cabinets here, and over there, those are going to have to come out because there's just too much water damage. That gives you an idea of what's going on throughout the framing underneath the cabinets, and there's just no way to save them. So those will have to come out. As a result of that, you've got to take the countertops out. Hopefully when they come out, they won't mess with your tile up here. So there's kind of a lot going on at one time.
There is.
And if we're careful, it won't damage the tile. If everything comes out just perfectly and goes back in just perfectly, it'll be okay. Otherwise, there may be a chance that the countertops will have to be replaced. May have to put another grout line right here. Because see, what's holding the grout line up is the backsplash. So some things like that will have to be done.
My experience with Black Dog has been awesome. They've been very professional. They've been very accurate and on time, which is appreciated by homeowners. I've just been impressed with how they've handled my flood.
This door right here was a bifold door. It was soaking wet at the bottom. And I've placed all those doors over here in your storage area. And so, I mean, you can take a look at the bottom of them, make sure to show the insurance adjuster. Miss Clements, she is what I would say is she's a salt of the earth person, a typical Southern lady. She was as nice as she can be. I even asked her, I said, how can you act like this with all this going on and be this calm about it? And she said it just wasn't a big deal to her. There were much bigger things in life. I did tell her this too. She's what I call our 1 in 50. We just get every once in a while those people that are like that, the salt of the earth people, and that's 1 in 50 probably that are just great, and you just love them to death, and they're just happy with everything you do. She's that kind of person. Here's a good example of a door. You can actually see the water line on it.
Oh, yes.
And so what happens is this piece down here, this will swell up. And so your door...
it won't shut.
It won't shut, and when it does shut, it'll scrub, and you can't trim this or sand it down like you can a solid door. You know, if it was a solid wood door, it'd be different. You can also see here where the door jamb is wet. That'll leave staining, those things. And so we may replace a door unit here. So when I say a door unit, it's not this. This is the slab with the trim and the jamb and the door is a door unit. So we'll probably replace the whole unit. In here, the carpet, we took it up because it was
Now, will it have
delaminating.
the same handles?
Probably so. What we usually do is we take these off, save them, and just put them on the new door. Into here, you can see we took the carpet up. It was delaminating. It was, you know, rippled all throughout. So, you know, it'll be replaced all the way from where it started on into your next room. It'll be something that you pick out, like, kind, and quality. Color doesn't matter to us. You can
Now
see
that wood is all wet.
it is. The bottom plate, this is called the bottom plate, right here. So it's treated wood like you'd use on a deck. And they make it on framing plate like that so that when you frame and put it in this on concrete, if it gets water transfer, it won't damage it. That's the same thing as what you use outside on a deck and that kind of lumber. So it's treated lumber, so it's designed to absorb and release water without a problem. So you're safe there.
Okay.
And you can see coming through here, I mean, it's the same thing. You've got baseboards removed throughout. Everywhere you've got a corner like this or like this, there's a metal corner bead inside there.
Right.
So when we're down there working and we're taking off a baseboard, a lot of times you get some collateral damage when you're taking it off. Now, the corner bead probably won't have to be replaced, but we may have to do some skimming up into here to get those back smooth. And if we do that, that makes it where you have to paint the walls. You see that? That thing's ruined. It might even need to go outside. There's maybe the one door in here that didn't get damaged from
What
that.
are we going to do about my dresser there?
Well, it's a veneer over the top of particle board. And so, I mean, right here you can see the, you know, it's a bad stain, and it's dark in the wood. When that dries, this is going to still be a bad stain. It's still going to be dark. So, you know, right along in here, up to about that line right there, it's soaking wet. It's at its saturation point, and it's not gonna dry out and be okay. It'll dry, but it'll be damaged. You're gonna have to replace this piece. And it doesn't have to be replaced with the same exact thing, but with the insurance company, what they'll want to know, they'll want you to inventory this piece,
Right.
kind of tell them what it was. They'll ask you what, yes, ma'am. They'll ask you what the age of it is, and then they'll kind of negotiate with you to compensate you for it.
Okay.
But this is not considered to be repairable, because you got this same damage on the other side and all around the edges. So I would say just get with the insurance company on that.
General Manager Leif doesn't normally go out into the field and work on jobs. But the Clemens property presented a unique opportunity for him to do a detailed assessment before returning to the office and writing up the quote with Cara.
The Clemens estimate, I think, will be approved pretty quickly. We'll be done with that job in about 3 days, and we'll have the estimate pretty much written. I was there first day, so I have all the information laid out for her just to enter, and we should have it approved within days of doing the job. All right, so let's talk about the Clemens estimate. What's the total?
Right now, it's $3,887.45.
Okay. And you wrote that estimate?
I did.
So, I mean, I was at the job, so let's kind of go over what is in each room.
Okay.
That they did. I think I can remember.
Do you know the equipment?
No, besides the equipment, like the demo stuff. We can get the equipment off the report there.
Okay. We had to tear out some toe kick in the living room and kitchen.
Yeah, that room was like, there was no divider between the living room and kitchen. It's all one area.
Okay, and
Obviously, it's just kitchen cabinets.
and the carpet and carpet pad.
Yep.
There was some content manipulation on the stairs and in the laundry room. Is that right?
Not in the stair area.
They have these two, I guess, together.
Oh, if they're together, then yeah, because there was a bunch of stuff in the laundry area we had to move out of the way. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. And then tearing out carpet in the closet.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Toe kick in the bathroom. Water extraction in the bathroom too.
Yes.
Was that the baseboards in the bedroom? contamination.
And it should be carpet and pad in the bedroom too.
In the bedroom, carpet and pad. In the bathroom, toe kick and extraction.
Yep, off the vanity. Yep, that'd be right. And on the main level, you got haul debris, because I know when I was there, they had a truckload of trash.
Was it a full truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. Did they give you a picture of it bagged or anything like that?
I think so.
'Cause I don't want them to not pay for that, because we definitely hauled a lot of trash back.
Okay, I'm just gonna write back trash. But yeah, we got one full load for the haul debris.
The total bill for that one was $3,887.45.
That's right.
Okay.
So we're good to go.
Yeah, let's send that one in. I think that's good to go.
Okay.
We got any furniture blocks? All right. Coming into here, you can see that we blocked up stuff on these styrofoam blocks. That's just to protect it from further damage, but this is a good example of something that's already gotten wet that's probably not going to be okay. It's particle board. You can see right here down at the bottom of it. You can see at the bottom on the front as well. It's delaminating, the particle board's coming apart, so that'll have to be replaced. This, however, this is solid wood, and the only part that got wet was down here at the bottoms of it. It's got a good finish coat on it, and so it may not have even gotten any damage. We'll keep an eye on the bottoms of these and make sure that they're not cracking or anything like that, but it's propped up, it's not going to get wet anymore, and we'll be drying in here, so it should be fine.
All right, that's wonderful.
Going into here, this is kind of where everything started.
Right,
The line here that bursts, just so you know, a line like this can get, it can under pressure, which they're pressurized lines, I mean, they can distribute several gallons a minute. So if it was only on for a couple of hours, that seems, you know, minor, but it'll put out so much water because it's under full pressure. So, you know, you could have had several hundred gallons of water in here just from this one line. In here,
well, shouldn't they make them so they don't break?
well, you would think they wouldn't. That's one of the things with this braided line. It's designed, you know, they say these things never break. But the plastic part, that's what failed.
I know.
So all your braid held it, but then the plastic fell.
Well, they don't need to make plastic.
I would agree. This is actually the one place water could have gone that wouldn't have mattered.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
So that's a pump-up system, and those are designed to take on water, but that's not where it went. It all migrated the opposite direction.
Right. I actually have two of those pumps down here.
Would have been nice if all the water had flowed to those, but it didn't.
At the end of the day, it was time to put the dehumidifiers to work and start the slow process of drying Mrs. Clemens' house.
It was a huge mess. And we've, you know, at this point, gotten her into a pretty good spot where she's dry, and we're trying to work on getting her some new carpet and cabinets, things like that.
Okay, here we go.
With confirmation of what the insurance company would cover in hand, Rob took Mrs. Clemens through the details of her claim and rebuild.
Well, at this point, what we do, since you got this, you know, picked out this in the mail yesterday, we have all your information from your adjuster, what they've agreed to pay for. So we want to make sure it matches what actually needs to be done.
Correct.
And so that when we as contractors come in to actually do the work, it's all covered. So make sure that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's walk back here in the bedroom area first, and we'll get started back there.
All right. This is where the flood started.
Okay. Here's what they have in here. They have replacing the carpet. Then the carpet pad, of course. The baseboards, we see those were torn out.
I want to change that color.
Okay, all right. You want to change it to this color?
Probably.
So it's all uniform?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that. That's not a problem.
And can you use the wider
baseboard?
Baseboard?
To higher, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, we sure can.
Yes.
Yeah, so that it covers that joint there.
And does it have to be carpet, or can we put another kind of flooring down?
We can put another kind of flooring down. The budget is for carpet, so if we pick something like an LVT or an engineered product, if it's more expensive, then I would just have to ask you for the big difference in that.
I see.
But it's usually nominal. So yeah, we can change the floor covering.
Okay, good.
Because there's money in here for carpet and pad. So,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. They've got in here to
My experience with the insurance company has been all right. Also very professional people. My agent has been very accommodating and understanding and open to me calling for any questions or concerns. I've been very pleased, no problems.
Well, she's got the hall bath in here. First of all, we can talk about that.
You know, that's where the water was shooting up against it, and it's really messed up down there. Is that replaced?
She has it in here to be replaced, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She's got 4 feet, and that's only 3. So if you want to make a bigger one, that's not a problem.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
This room gets basically the same thing: carpet and pad, baseboards, painting the baseboards, painting the walls. But you want to relocate this, right?
I do.
Okay, you want to put it on the other side of the wall?
Yes.
So you're going to make this a living room and that like a kitchenette? Okay, that works. And I'm sure your tenant will like that too. Okay, for this room, on the floor, since it's tile, she's only got in here to clean it, which is really all it needs.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This whole bank of cabinets will be replaced.
I know, that's a shame.
Okay. Walls are being painted in this room as well. So if you want to change colors in here, you can too.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh. You mean the whole room, including the living room?
Yep. Yep.
Wow, okay.
Like we talked about, we changed the paint color.
I'm excited about the new renovations. I'm going to make some changes. Upgrade will end up with, instead of a 2-bedroom apartment and an efficiency, I'll have 2 complete, a 1-bedroom apartment and a 2-bedroom apartment.
Any other questions?
On the next edition of Master of Disaster, the final touches go into Mrs. Clemens' home.
Installation of Clemens was really simple. Just slam the cabinet in there and get out of there.
One of Luke's favorite aspects of restoration is preserving precious possessions that have been damaged.
So if you take a picture of all of it and then take it to a trophy guy,
His daughter Ashton was enlisted to help out with Mrs. Cuspas's memorabilia.
It came from, what it looked like. I mean, that's a small trophy. These are big trophies.
I came to work with my dad, and he brought out a box, and so we opened it, and there were a bunch of trophies in there, but they had obviously been burned from the fire that the lady was in.
And then put the wording of these on like equal size, make them all like the same size, and then put them on each all the way around.
And you couldn't really tell what they were, so we just looked at the nameplates because those didn't get burned in the fire.
Clark Middle School MVP 2001 and 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're not using any of this except for to recreate. So let's grab those pictures right there and look at those. So I wanted to take that because that's the picture from the 04-05, and I read something on one of these trophy plaques that 04-05 they were like state champs. So that's probably an important picture to her.
Do we cut this out?
I don't know. It's laminated. I was going to ask you and see what you thought.
You can cut it.
That wouldn't be usable. That probably wouldn't. So what I want to do is I wanted you to take and see what you could use out of this and either get a big frame
and put a bunch of pictures in it. Or maybe if you get a good big picture, do it in a separate frame and do a bunch of smaller ones. I need your creativity because we are limited on what we got to work with. But her and her two girls are the most important thing.
Back at the Gilbert property, the restoration was in full swing with Rob in command.
We're here at the Gilbert house, and the cabinets were delivered today. We're going to probably install these this afternoon and in the morning. We're going to hang doors, run baseboard, window trim all today and tomorrow. Painters are set up for Thursday and Friday. We hope to have it painted by the weekend. On the inside, we're working on floors next week, and we've got to trim out the bathrooms. But there's a lot of work still to be done. The windows are in, the drywall is finished. Electrical's got to trim out, plumbing's got to trim out, heating and air's got to trim out. So we're trying to get a lot done in the next couple of weeks. We can walk through and look, and I can show you what's left to be done. Here, of course, cabinets go on this wall. The layout ends here, and there's a slide-in stove that goes here. Refrigerator goes over in the wall. We're gonna hang a ceiling fan and a light fixture. Both bedrooms, we're trying to save the floor in the master bedroom. It's a heart pine floor, and we're gonna try to save that and sand it and refinish it so that she can have that back. The rest of the floor is probably gonna be covered with carpet. So the attic door gets a new cover put on it, and so it gets a new piece of plywood put on the front of it, and it's here. It'll be done this week as well. That's about it for what we're gonna do to catch it up at this point.
Rob's son Mark is a talented woodworker and runs his own small business. Mark learned his trade from his father and was keen to make some furniture for the Gilbert property.
It feels great to be able to donate to this cause. You know, somebody lost something, well, lost everything in a fire, and it's really, I don't know, it's great that I can be a part of that and that there's any way that I can help. You know, I feel pretty special about it, and, you know, I'll make a table and hopefully someone will enjoy it for generations, and it'll last and be sat around and loved and taken care of. And, you know, that's why I do what I do. That's why I make the things that I make, so that they can be enjoyed. And this seems like a good cause, and, you know, it is a good cause. And I can, this is a service that I can provide to my community.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Dad.
I know you'd still be here. You're working late.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Okay. What you working on?
Get this this bench for the table you told me about, trying to get that together.
Oh, that's right. That's right, for the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I mentioned that to you, you said you had a table that maybe was already built that you could...
Yeah, it's right over here.
Let's
come take a look.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You like this one?
Where'd it come from? Where'd the wood come from?
Well, the wood from this one came from a barn that was in Gwinnett County that we tore down. It was built in 1905.
Wow.
Yeah, this is all circle sawn, heart pine. Yeah, we took the barn down I guess it was March of this year, and now we're got a little stock left of it, and
Was this about the end of the wood supply?
From that place, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's about the end of it.
And what are you working on?
Well, I got the bench going for this table right here, so it's going to slide up right underneath the table there.
Oh, great. Well, one side of it's going to go against the wall, so it only need one bench. We're going to put a chair on each end.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
So it'll seat.
Now, is this wood from the same source?
This is not.
Okay.
This wood came from a building that was built in downtown Lawrenceville in the 1880s. And this is
circle sawn heart pine, too?
Circle sawn heart pine.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Kind of set it up for you here and show you, give you a little idea about what it's going to look like.
Okay. Now, does this go down some, like down here?
No.
Or it goes up at the top?
Just goes up against the seam there.
Okay.
Yeah. Gonna look something just about like that. Sitting there upside down.
That'd be awesome. She's gonna love it.
I hope so.
She's a nursing student. She's got 2 kids. They lost everything. They don't have a thing left. Kitchen table, I mean, everything she had except the clothes they were wearing basically is gone.
Well, I'm glad I can help out.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
All right. I'm gonna check on your mom.
Word.
All right.
We'll see you.
See you later.
Ashley's project was nearing completion.
What you doing?
Just fixing this picture.
What you think about that?
What do you think about this?
That is super cool. All the tournaments.
All the ones we could see.
Yeah, we can put it up on top of that. How about that? Display.
What else we got? Have we got any pictures we can save? I thought about if we put like some in a few slots and we can let her pick out.
I put this together.
Those are nice.
Just for a family
They look a
picture.
little bit similar, but they just didn't have all that many, so that's good.
It was all hands on deck in the office, with Dax the accountant and Cara going on a mission into the warehouse.
To look for some items for Janice Custis.
Who's that?
She's the lady that is the tenant for the Gilbert house. Rob's church has been trying to collect some things, and so we were going to go through all of our lost items, the items that the insurance company has paid for, that we need to refurbish and try to get for her home.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. See some stuff over there, but what's in here?
This is all lost.
This is lost stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a dining room table, but I think Rob's son is making a kitchen table with a bench, so they don't necessarily need that, but look, what about this pretty coffee table?
That's nice.
Yeah, it's got the wicker underlayment and the glass top, so.
They would like that.
I think it'd be really nice.
And that lamp.
Yeah. Hey, look.
We get a lampshade for that.
Has little birds on it.
That matches too.
Oh, look at that! Yay! Yeah, we could put that in the living room.
Perfect.
After only 1 month of working on the Gilbert house, bump-in day had finally arrived for the Black Dog restoration crew. First up was loading the furniture that was being donated from their warehouse. Then, a serious shopping spree that included white goods, mattresses, and possibly the kitchen sink. It was like Christmas Eve for Luke when the truck began being unloaded on site.
This is very gratifying for all of us because we get to give back, and so we're loving it. I mean, we're loving it, literally. I can't be more pleased with everything at this point. Rob hammered this job out. It's been a lot of extra work for Rob. You know, I've been in the background the whole time, but Rob kind of led the restoration part of it. I've kind of led the contents part of it. And, you know, just doing those two things, you know, is tough when you got, you know, literally we did it in a month. This is a 3 or 4 month job. We did it all in a month. We're not just stocking them with a sofa and a love seat. I mean, we've got them TVs, we've got them entertainment centers, we've gotten them, you know, paper towels, clothing, food to eat, you know, a knife and fork set, plates. I mean, all that stuff so they can literally come in and start using it. We've refurbished the bedrooms, hers and her daughter's, living room, kitchen, everything. And again, it's better than it was. So everybody in the whole entire company is a part of this job. And I would think they would all want to be here Friday when we are able to give it to Janice. If they can't be here, it's gonna be a bummer because, you know, I wouldn't miss it for anything. I think she'll probably be a little overwhelmed, to be honest with you. It's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. I hope she feels good about it. I know she'll be excited. I just don't want her to be, you know, get overexcited.
You know, my first thought when I seen, like, this is beautiful and it's better than even before, better than what I ever expected.
On the day of handing the house over, all the Black Dog restoration crew were in attendance, along with Luke's wife, Kim.
She don't want me to hang it unless I measure.
Oh, Miss Key.
I think she wants, you know.
Perfect, I know.
The good news story even caught the interest of the local media.
I think people in Georgia, people in the South, and I'd like to think all across the nation, they love to see people helping people. You know, it's just a common denominator among all of us is that we want to see our fellow person do well.
Finally, the big moment had arrived for Mrs. Custis and her children.
I'm very excited. Look at all these people. Look at the house, y'all. Oh my God. is nice. Wow.
I think their reaction was better than we expected. They were just blown away, and she brought her mom with her and her dad and brother, and everybody, the family was just really excited. It was a great time.
What you think?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Not the same place,
oh
is it?
my gosh. Look at my trophy. I can't believe y'all did that.
I'm not sure what the favorite would be, but I would probably say the basketball is a sport that Janice plays still and played in high school and excelled at high school. And she had a lot of trophies that she lost and a lot of things she lost.
Saved that, we cleaned it down, and then got it to where we could read it. And then I took this, I say I did, my daughter, she actually took this, her and my wife, and they took it to the trophy guy, and he could still read it, so he duplicated it. And then this one, and this one. And there was a couple we couldn't read, but you've got slots here. Like if you want to put, you know, you can put I still rule at basketball if you want to. Or,
When I seen the trophy, I was in shock. I didn't really notice that it had all of my old, like, the words on my trophies and the labels were put onto one trophy. You know, he saved my trophy, so, you know, he couldn't save all of them, but what he saved, it really reminds me of, you know, all my trophies that I won from high school. So the trophy is a big surprise to me.
The top one still is mine.
Look at your bed, baby. That's your bed right there.
I hope I don't fall off.
When I saw them go in and looking around and knowing that, oh, it's home, we're back home, that was kind of when I felt like they got the peace they were looking for, they got the happiness they were looking for. And then a little bit later, the younger one, she kind of came out of her shell and she broke open the baby doll and started playing. Then I knew, all right, they're really at home.
I'm sleeping on the top.
No, you are sleeping on the top.
So what?
I'm sleeping on the top.
Whatever, just good. Yeah.
For me to be so blessed for so many years in this line of business and to be financially blessed the way I've been and able to give it back to somebody is a blessing straight from God. When you talk about gifts and what your gift is, there's a lot of them that I don't have, a lot of them. But I do believe one of the gifts that I have from God is giving. And every time I give, it's a blessing for me, and it's, poured back on me tenfold. That's the best part for me.
Open the door and just go down on the bed.
Oh, wow. Oh, she did it. So nice. I hear so many stories of people when they get misplaced out of their homes, they don't have the love and support from family and friends and strangers like I did. I'm blessed. I'm still in shock because people don't have it good like this. When people go through a fire, it's not this easy, to get over a fire and go back to living life, like nothing has happened. But with the hard work that Black Dog has put in for me, it makes my life a little bit more easier now.
This is your fall colors, too.
So much. This is beautiful.
You like it?
Y'all did this.
I'm glad
Y'all did a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
I think the fact that they saw somebody cared because they had lost everything, and she said thought I was going to start over with everything, and we've been able to just through the company been able to give them so much, and for us in business there's a saying that you celebrate the victories. This is a victory for our company that we're able to celebrate with this family, so we're glad to do it.
I told you I'd be the happiest one. Great job. Thank you.
This job actually just reassured us and reminded us this is what we want to do, is help people
find people in need, find people that are uninsured, people that need help, and help them with no strings attached. Just give like you're supposed to give, because it's all worth it. I mean, you see how happy they are, and it makes your job worth it. There's just, the money is such a struggle on both ends, and if you could remove that, then I'd love it. I'd love what I do every day, and so would Rob.
Right now. That's exactly what I'm doing. Let me see. Oh my God, this feels so good. It's amazing, you know, strangers, people that I've never met in my life that care to come in here and, you know, do something for someone that they don't even know. You know, thank you for putting in that hard work. And we hadn't even been out of our home 2 months, you know, so this was a shocker. We thought maybe, they said November, but we thought, okay, maybe they're kind of exaggerating. They won't be done that fast. And for Luke to text me in a month and a half and like, y'all need to come see us, you know, Friday, 3 o'clock. I'm like, okay, maybe the house is done, maybe it's not. But when we got here and Luke like, we ready, it's amazing.
And anyway, long story short, y'all talked a while, right? And when he got up to pay for it, the guy said, you know, I think God wants me to just give this. And that's the kind of people that we were running into along the way on this. And he did. And on the way out, he's like, and take the coffee table and take the 2 end tables too. And Rob said, we just need the sofa and love seat. And he said, no, just take it. He said, I really want you to. I mean, that's the kind of people that we were working with the entire time. And that's why it's such a blessing to us. I'm glad you can say, I'm back home.
It feels good to say I'm back at home. It feels real good. With the fire, it felt like it was maybe the end of something that I wasn't gonna be able to bounce back from. When I was in school that day and I got that phone call, it was terrible. I thought something had happened to my kids, but this is a life changer. You know, I always, you know, help people and everything, but with outpour love and everything that people have given me, I wanna give more now. With just the help and support from what y'all showed me. Like, I normally give, but I want to give more. I want to help people more. You know, from the support that everybody has given me through these tough times. You know, it's a big eye-opener. You know, it's people out there that really care. You know, the people out here that really care about us.
So we took the lockbox off, took the keys out, and they're yours.
Thank you, Rob.
We are so done. You're so welcome.
I love it.
What Janice said inside is basically kind of where I am with this work and what we do. She said that we took something that was like a horrible thing, that was a bad thing, and turned it into something, you know, good. And she said, actually better. That's what we're all about. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to be known as. That we can take devastation and turn it into something good.
On the next edition of Master of Disaster, a hoarder with a difference.
I mean, clothes piled from floor to the ceiling, all the way around. It was a disaster, too.
It's kind of starting to spill over into my vehicles, though, which is really disturbing.